2023. What a heck of a year. So I'm going to start with January, run over through the key points of my 2023 with you guys because it was one of the highest years of my life and also one of the lowest years of my life. Just a heck of a ride, heck of a ride. Learned so much, did so much, but also just freaking got crushed and destroyed halfway through. It was so brutal. Oh man. Oh man. So guys, where do I start? 2022, I moved down to Texas from Colorado. I moved down, made a big move in life, and this year of 2022, it's only relevant to 2023 because of the momentum I was riding from 2022 in 2023. I spent so much time writing code and just becoming a nasty software engineer and just really building up the skill set in a real grindy type way of just passing on nights out, um, and even as far back as 2021, just not doing anything, just keeping my nose in the keyboard, right? And that's not very pretty. That's not very like class, that's not like entertaining. But just being honest, like a real boring set of years of just thousands of hours going into studying this craft. And coming off the year of 2022, I was getting pretty good with it, getting a little nasty with it. Um, and now 2024, hopefully I'm a little bit better now. But coming off 2022, I get this amazing job offer to work into a capillary collection startup. Um, let me take a sip of this. Let me quench the thirst. Right, I was feeling parched as I sip my Aqua True water, which is such a fantastic water filtration system. But anyways, back to the story. Here I'm like pretending to be so bougie, guys. I've got so many stories. Oh man, I can't wait to share more podcasts with y'all. It's gonna be so fun. Because really, right now is a huge struggle. By the way, so I know it looks all fancy. I know I'm wearing a little thing, drinking water out of a wine glass. But I'll be honest with you guys, it's a struggle right now. And this is part of the 2023 story. Um, um, so so coming off 2022, I get a job offer, and I actually sign with a company in December 3rd, and then I get another job opportunity with this capillary collection startup, and they give me a better offer. They have an on-site interview. Kind of made more sense. I fit in with that team really well. I'm still actually really great buddies with a lot of those guys, especially one of them, Chester. He's a great friend of mine, and um, I signed that deal. Like I think it was December 22nd, if I'm remembering correctly. December 22nd, like 3 days before Christmas. Everybody's wrapping up the holidays. Um, and I get the whole thing figured out, and then I'm coming into the new year, starting brand brand new employment with them beginning of the year. So 2023, I'm walking in on fire. I'm walking in the man. All this work from 2021, 2022 of just grinding and working hard on software, it's paying off. I got this tangible moment of greatness, of just pure embodied in greatness. Like I'm being honest, guys. Like it was epic going through that interview process. Like money was down, credit cards were maxed out, and here I am. I get this big check, this big sign on, this big like feeling like holy crap, like it's paying off. Like I'm walking in to the next 5 years of my life, easy cakewalk. Like I just did all this hard work. I know I still got to do hard work, but it's like a sense of comfort of, well, here's the six-figure base pay. Here's this amazing deal here. Here's this equity with this. Like just walking in as like totalitarian package. Here you go, and I'm on cloud 50. And the biggest thing too, I guys, when I signed this deal, I cried. I was so excited, like knowing I wasn't gonna be a burden to the family anymore, as you know what I mean? Like the last thing you wanna do is be a burden on your parents, and I really haven't been as much in the last couple of years. But this year was really tough. So we're gonna dive into again the highs and the lows. The juxtaposition of 2023 was brutal, guys, and I really want to be transparent with y'all. So first month coming in, January coming in hot. I'm feeling king of the world, right? Nobody can tell me nothing, right? Because it's like, man, I just got scooped up from a capillary collection startup with some of the smartest people I've ever met in my existence. Like literally, people with IQs north of 140, engineers from Amazon. Everything's just lining up, working on some of the most cutting edge technology, all this stuff. And I'm like, dang, I get to be with these guys. Like, this is my crew, people. You kidding me? You're kidding me? Like, so cool. Boom, I show up first week. Is that like just reality hits of like, holy crap, like I'm here as an engineer and these guys are here as engineers. Like I've got so much work to do, just so much work to do. Right. You're feeling like the man and still like, no, I'm ready for it though. Back in my head, I'm like, hey, I'm here to do the work. I'm here to put my time in and I'm here to show up early, stay late, and get on board, get up to speed, get up to par with these guys because it's an amazing team, amazing group of people. And first month, I think the team's kind of digging me. I'm fitting into the company, meeting people, getting into the culture. They're kind of showing me a few things. They're getting me up to speed a little bit. They get me up from rung one to rung two. Within about a month, and I'm nervous as ever. I'm you know just shaky because I'm getting thrown into a real deal with real responsibilities, and it's like, no, you got to be one of the engineers we can lean on for product demos, and you got to be one of the engineers we can rely on to push products to production. Like you got to be one of those guys. So I'm leaving San Antonio at the time. I lived down in San Antonio at the time. I would leave at 5:45 in the morning, and I would drive to Austin, Texas, hour and a half commute, show up at the office, 7:30 in the morning, right? To get in kind of my extra reps, to just show up, be there in front of, and get ahead, or at least certainly start eating away at that gap of knowledge that I needed to understand and comprehend. And it's just, I'm doing it. I'm staying after hours too. From 5 p.m. to 6:30, they gave me an extra key to the office, because they knew I was staying late, and I liked it anyways. I love doing work. I love putting in work, and I gotta miss all the traffic, so it was perfect. It was like, okay, I can show up early, so I miss all the traffic, so I don't have to drive extra long, and then I can stay late. It's a win-win in my mind. I'm like, I get the office kind of daps on the back. Hey, this kid's a grinder. He works hard, and then also I get to save time. I don't got to worry about driving, left and right. So it was a win-win in my mind. I'm like, I'm here for it, head to toe. This is perfect. This is everything I could ask for. And alongside of that, my skill set is going up, up, up. I'm going from rung two to rung three now. I'm going from rung three to like I'm putting in the work and I'm getting better. And I know I'm getting better. I can see it in the skill set. I see how fast I'm running through the code base and building out components and understanding huge architecture concepts a lot better. Um, and it's just giving me so much talent so quick it felt. Um, and that's beginning of 2023 was just working my tail off from January to March, and then we moved offices, and then right around March, April, we moved offices, and it was so wild. I get my first kind of project that it's like, Ryan, this is your responsibility. You need to build this. And I go so hard on this build, guys. It was a lab reports build. I built that thing up so quick and so beautiful within like a week, like within ridiculously short amount of time. And I roughly built, um, not the end data schema that was ultimately used, but I certainly built one of them that was just like strong, like the initial data outline and data schema of what the lab reports build was going to be. But point being is like I had my own build, that was like, this is on you to build. This is on you to construct. And I crushed it. I'm showing like the head of the company, at one of the meetings. I'm like, hey, this is what I just built. And he's even impressed. And I'm like, dang, I'm getting all the office props and feeling like the man. They're like, geez, this is our new engineer. He's crushing it. He really rolled into here. And this is how he's moving. And I just felt like the man. Like I gotta be honest with you. I'm like, man, like I really made it. I was 27 at the time. I turned 28 while working there, but um, I'm like, man, I'm 27. Like I'm earning this level of money. Like I feel like I'm progressing. I feel like I'm getting it, and I feel like I'm progressing quick. And I feel like there's this 2-year vision I have of like, okay, I'll be here, I'll get to senior engineering level, and then I'll move from there to some sort of FANG company, and I'll just run with building my own product or my own service at some point, like I'll just figure it out, But in my mind, I'm like, I've got runway. I've got life kind of figured out in front of me for the next 2 to 5 years in my mind. So I thought, little foreshadowing to the story. Woo. And it kind of this momentum carries forward for a bit. This like I'm progressing and I'm kind of making a splash, in the engineering side. It felt that way, right? At least, and maybe retrospectively, it's just like, oh, he finally was up to par with the other engineers, right? Um, but 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 what I did notice is like, okay, no, you could give me some tasks or the other engineer I was working closely with tasks, and you wouldn't know who did what. You could see, the level of skill was there, right? And and obviously I'd still give the edge to him being just a small edge at the time. Um and it was one of these things where moving forward, we get hit with the SVB banking crisis, right? With 2023, whether it was April or sometime around then, where like money gets locked up, and there was a serious meeting, right? And this was one of the days that I actually missed the meeting. Not gonna lie, I was like going to a doctor's office for I had broken my nose, so I was getting a nose just like um examination to see what they have to do for rhinoplasty, all that stuff. And I missed this Friday meeting, but the meeting was like a really serious meeting of like, hey guys, like we only have enough payroll for like one more check, like all the money's locked up right now, like we might have to shut down. And I completely missed this meeting. I didn't have a clue about it, didn't even know, didn't so I show up to the office, Monday morning, like smile as ever, just like, guys, this is awesome. I'm so excited for another day of work. Let's go. And there's just this like eerie undertone of like, ooh, you didn't hear about Friday? Like what, why are you so chipper type thing? And I was like, no, like what happened on Friday? And they're like, oh no, like this is what's going on. Like you might have a serious like shift of and immediately I'm like, oh, this ain't good. Like, but boom, Friday Monday meeting happens, and the company they had the founders had put their own money to cover payroll for the next 2 checks, and then also like amazing people, by the way, just so phenomenal that leaders of a company would do that. That tells you everything you need to know about that company, and they really are a fantastic company. They're super above board, amazing people. Um, but moving forward, they're like, oh no, we got the SVB thing figured out. We're moving to a different bank. Da 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 da. Our cash got freed up, et cetera, et cetera. So it was like, okay, whew, like deep breath. It was close, but looks like we dodged it. Wasn't a big deal. And it's back to crushing it. It's back to like we're crushing it. Few weeks of having fun. Life's moving forward. Back to the rock star life that I've now constructed in my head. The delusions of my life, right? Of are finally manifesting. Of, oh my God, these big paychecks. I'm feeling like I'm making a dent in the universe. I feel like I'm doing my thing. I feel like I'm being part of a team that's building something epic for the world and like just back at it. And then fast forward like another month. It's like there's rumors of a regulation that's relevant to the business that might prevent the product from ever being released. And and it's like, wait, hold on. So you mean to tell me we just made it through a crisis, like a business high level potential failure crisis, and we're now faced with another one within 4 weeks of the last one. Like, yeah, that's exactly what's going on. So again, the stress is back. It's like, well, shoot, this is a real deal. And alongside of that, when there's a regulation on that, it wasn't only the SVB banking crisis of like we can still accept side money. This is now a regulation where it's like you cannot accept any money until you figure that one out. Because it was just for again Capillary Collection Startup, there was a company prior down the road, and the company I worked for was the exact opposite of this. The company I worked for was completely above the board, but the company way back prior down the road, it was called Theranos. For those unfamiliar with it, it was this whole scam. It was like this girl had scammed companies either like billions of dollars or hundreds of millions of dollars, ridiculous amounts of money. But the company I worked for was like the exact opposite. They gave like 200 sheets of information every week of what they were doing to all their investors, like super above board, super good people, to the point where they wouldn't accept investor money if there wasn't a product to sell, or a product to deliver on, by the end of all the work and all the construction of everything of this entire capillary collection ecosystem. So amazing people, but due to that, it's like they're like, we got to play. We really have to play this rule as it lies. We cannot cross the lines of this. This is a serious rule, and until that is figured out, the company has to kind of start making business operation decisions of is this thing going to live on, or is this thing going to, excuse me guys, I gotta burp real quick, but let me grab a sip of water. Let me grab a sip. But this regulation at the time really constricted things. It really tightened things up. It really was like, no, we have to get this figured out. This is something that the team needs, across the board. Otherwise, if it's not figured out, we're not going to get into the dirty waters that other company back on the road had chose to do. This company is the exact opposite. Amazing people, right? Like would never ever do that. So point being though, it was not getting figured out, and the money started, we just started seeing positions get sucked away. Just like, oh, upper management position gone, this position gone, HR gone. Like people would just start disappearing out of the office, and you're like, what is going on? And before you know it, it started affecting closer teams to us, and then inevitably engineering, and I was one of the engineers. Just one morning, I was actually crushing it, at least in my imagination of things, because we had another lab reports build that I had built. I had stayed up to like 2 a.m., woke up at like 6 a.m. to finish it up, and then I was demoing it to the shareholders at 9 a.m. So it was like one of these really grindy weeks, and here I'm like overperforming and just dog exhausted. Like you could see it. I'm worn out. I'm like showing up to the office early, staying late, staying after hours. Showing up on Saturdays was a thing I used to do, and it was like just freaking working like a dog. And I do this demo meeting, and the very next week, I get called in for a meeting. It was after like Juneteenth or something, like some holiday in June, right? Forgive me, I'm unfamiliar with the holidays. I know they like always pass. There's like Labor Day, there's Memorial. Like I have no idea, but some holiday in June. Whether it might have been Juneteenth or another one or something. Um, and I get called in on like Tuesday when we're all back from the holiday, and I'm thinking, oh, here comes this raise, like here comes the promotion, like all I've been doing this entire time is just working my tail off, like missing calls with the family, like dedicating myself to this product because I know how impactful it's going to be for society and and impactful for me as well. And I get called in, and one of the CEOs or the CFOs there, or one of the upper management guys, and then the VP of engineering. And I'm like, oh, this is it. This is it. Like this is either really great or really bad. But I think it's really great. Like there shouldn't be anything really bad. Like I'm not out here stealing from the company. I'm not doing anything wrong. So like at least I'm not screwing around. So I imagine this is going to be great. So I sit down and boom, door shuts, and I know the tone. I'm like, oh no. Oh no. Oh no, this is not good. Oh no. I just moved up to Austin. I like just moved up too, by the way, like 3 weeks prior to this. I just got an apartment up here, this one that I'm in right now. And it's a bit more expensive and I'm like, oh no. Oh no. And then the very first words is like, well, this regulation, this position isn't gonna be here anymore. And my when I tell you my heart and stomach just like dropped. Oh man, my heart and stomach just dropped. It was like, no, 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 like everything that I just told you, right? Like running into 2022 into 2023, feeling like the man, being the king of the castle, and just all this hard work I've been doing after hours, before hours, Saturdays, and just working, dedicating myself to this moment in life and giving it my all, genuinely, and just like gone, gone. Like I always imagined it would have been like, hey, just heads up, warning, we need this out of you. Can you do that? Like I figured there'd be like some warnings or things, but it was just like a band-aid, just ripped out of there, ripped out of there. And and they're asking me, hey, do you like you got to sign this paper, and it's like a separation agreement, all that stuff. And I know typically like you're probably not supposed to sign that stuff in that day and whatever from an employee standpoint, but I was like, man, if they don't want me here, I'm out. Like I'm not gonna play. I'm not gonna be a headache for nobody. I'm out. I'm out. I'll sign whatever you need me to sign. Like I'm out. I don't want to play any games. But they were fantastic. They were like, "No, we got you a little severance package. We got you this set up. If you need help with this, that, the other, let us know." But it just changed the dynamic so quickly. It was like you could pack your stuff. All of your keys are deactivated because we had keys to get into the lab. We could scan in and do all this stuff. Everything was deactivated. All your accounts are locked. And it's like, dang, like so here I am at like 2 a.m. stressed out for this lab report, and I just get tossed to the side like a used towel. I'm like, man, this ain't it. And I made a promise to myself in that moment. I will never put myself in that position again. No disrespect to them. Fantastic company. I just saw them last week. I'll put it in a vlog. They're amazing people. But for my own sake of sanity and leverage, I will never, ever in the existence of my life, ever be solely reliant on one income stream ever again, or one thing of opportunity, because it's just like, man, like you could get burned, like, and they didn't mean it, by the way, too. Like I want to be very clear. It's not a personal thing, because they truly, nobody wants to make that decision. They didn't want to make that decision. I didn't want to make that decision. The CEO doesn't want to make that decision. That's the worst thing you wanna do is spend 7 years, grinding out, building a company, and then watching it contract. So I understand that it wasn't a personal thing, but it's a business decision. And ultimately, it has to be done, for the survival, the opportunity to survival for a company. So I get it, 'cause if I was in their shoes too, it's like, yeah, you have to kinda go up the totem pole at some point and start cutting the people off the bottom of the totem pole, and depending on how strict the regulation, and this was a very strict regulation where they actually contracted, um, uh, by like 40% of the company, like a lot. Like it was a big deal. It wasn't just like one or two people. It was a big shift. So it hurt. It sucked. It was not fun. It was like, no, this is not what I signed up for when I joined software engineering. It was to be the rock star, to have a bulletproof career with bulletproof job and all that stuff. So just not fun. Not fun to have gone through that. That was literally about halfway through, dang near on the dot, halfway through 2023. So it's like starting at a high and maybe like challenge, like grinding up the hill to go higher, through challenge and fun and and a little bit of luck and a lot of bit of support, and a whole bunch of God, and then to like rock bottom, like almost like just in pure shock. Like when I was in this apartment, just like looking around, like just pure shock, and that was about 6 months ago at this point, and just like can't even believe it, like literally could not even believe it. So, but I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna have a part two because I recognize this is getting a little bit long, so I'm gonna wrap it up here, and I'm gonna have a part two to this, but that was the first half of 2023, like, feeling like the man, and I probably had some more stories there I coulda add with, like, credit card just always working type thing. You're always feeling confident about the money and all that stuff, and yeah, so I'll start there with 2023, and I'll make a part 2.